Hello guys, welcome here to Out of Turn 4. I'm Brian here with you. Sporting kind of a new look here. Figure it's chapter 27 now. Figure let's go with a new look here. Here we go. So coming up on the show, we're going to recap Michigan and Nashville. We'll discuss some of the latest headlines that occurred. It was kind of a big week in racing in terms of news. Of course, the Noah Gragson news, we do sadly have to talk about it. We'll talk about it in a little bit. I'm not going to give my opinions on it, but we are going to talk about it. And then, of course, we'll make the picks for the big Indianapolis race weekend. And so with that, let's talk about the Xfinity Series at Michigan and John Hunter Nemechek. He's continuing that hot streak, really putting the pressure on Toyota to move him up. He wins at Michigan. It's his 5th win of the season. All I can say is just this guy's going to Cup. You know, there's no more disputing it. He's going to the Cup Series next year. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but I mean, between him and Austin Hill, he is the surefire 100% going to happen. He is in that situation. He's going. There's no question. So, congratulations to JHN. Big win for him. Another big win, of course, in the Cup Series, and it was for RFK Racing. Man, they are back. I mean, say what you will about Ford this year. They've been god-awful, but Brad Keselowski has built that team up from the dead, essentially, and they are now a contender once again. Chris Buescher winning at Michigan, his 4th career win. Man, he's had more wins in the last few weeks than he has in the last 7 years. Or just as many. Just as many. So, man, he is on a roll. He's going to be scary. I said it, I think, last week. I think this guy is going to be a dark horse when the playoffs start. I think he's going to be the guy that's a dark horse. And again, we have 3 more races until the playoffs. So, I will have my predictions after Darlington. Of course, I had my predictions earlier in the year. Go back to our beginning of the season special there. You'll learn kind of why I think, or rather what my thoughts were as far as predictions for the playoffs. I don't even think I had him on the prediction. Oh, I had him as my spoiler. Sorry, I have my predictions in front of me. I said Buescher would be a spoiler. Man. But yeah, so glad to see that. On the IndyCar side, it's quite shocking because Alex Palou was not a winner this weekend. Kyle Kirkwood, he goes on to win his 2nd street course race of the season, his 2nd career win at Nashville. I didn't get a chance to watch the full race just yet. I got like 25 laps in and then got roped into something else, so I'm hoping to watch the rest of it. I'm recording on Monday, so that way I can relax today, and, hopefully today I'll get a chance to watch it. But 2nd career win, I heard it was a good race. Hopefully the ratings will reflect that, being a noon start time. And of course, I forgot to put this in there, but Nashville next season will now be the season finale, and don't like Nashville. I'm sorry. If you're going to go to Nashville for the season finale, go to the outskirts, go to Nashville Super Speedway. I think that's a better race than IndyCar will ever put up at the street course. I guess I understand why. It's a party city, so it makes sense that they went that direction to move the season finale there. But man, Just don't like the track. Bottom line, I just don't like the track. So with that, we got to talk about some of the tough news of the week. Before we get into the good news of the week, Paul Tracy has been suspended for the remainder of the season. Of course, I believe we talked last week. He was suspended by SRX. SRX has announced it is for the rest of the season. And you have to. This is an entertainment series. This is not really, serious, hardcore. I mean, it's it's competitive, but it's not hardcore, championship is huge sort, it's a midsummer league with guys who used to race versus guys who race currently. Like, come on. And Tracy's taken this a little too seriously, I think, and it's unfortunate he's suspended the rest of the year, but no one to blame but himself. Another driver just got suspended this week, and this one came out of left field, but Saturday morning it was announced not just by Legacy Motor Club, but by NASCAR, that they have suspended driver Noah Gragson indefinitely. The reason being, he liked a meme poking fun at George Floyd that said "under the knee." It was a Little Mermaid thing. If you know the Under the Sea thing, that's where it came from. Oh, man. So we at Tinkle Sports try not to engage in any political stories, and we're going to take that stance here. If you go back to Sports Collaboration Network, it's still a channel, by the way. SCN. I did a video about Ben DiNucci and why you got to be careful being in the public eye. And, I'm not going to tell you whether it's fair or not. I am going to tell you I think this is it for him with Legacy Motor Club. I thought he was done before. He's definitely done now. I imagine he will not be running for that team the rest of the season, and frankly going forward. And it stems further than what he did, but I think John Hunter's going to be the driver of that 42 next year now that Truex has announced he's not retiring. So they're going to have to put John Hunter somewhere. And 2311's full. Say what you want about Bubba, he's coming back. It don't matter what you haters out there, anyone who's a hater of his has to say. He's going to be back. And so is Tyler Reddick. So that leaves one choice. Because Eric Jones is also on a long-term deal. Denny Hamlin's about to get extended. So, again, one choice. And that is Legacy Motor Club. So, I anticipate John Hunter will move up next year. But as far as Noah Gragson, I don't think this is the end of his career. But it definitely put a damper in things going forward. He's not the generational talent like Kyle Larson. Again, I won't say if I agree or disagree about Larson being back. I will say the numbers speak for itself. But I'm not going to comment on my thoughts on what he liked on social media other than, it's a different world now. And you're in the public eye. I mean, I think what's even worse is seeing the death threats toward the guy who supposedly brought this to light, both the reporter and the Twitter user, and two wrongs don't make a right, folks. Two wrongs don't make a right. Nothing more to say. It's a tough topic. it's a line I prefer not to engage in. My friends know my opinions on it. At least my close friends do. But I'm not going to say, whether I think it's right or wrong. I'm just going to say that it happened. Which is a rare, flip from how I normally do things. I would rather say how I feel about it. But this is a topic that's could lean left or right. So that's why we're not going to do it. But we are going to talk about this. And it needs to be talked about. Jimmie Johnson, Chad Knaus, they will headline the Hall of Fame class of 2024. Jimmie Johnson got 93% of the final vote. Not unanimous, but if we're going to compare, Jeff Gordon only got 96% when he was voted in. These votes need to be made public. I mentioned how terrible it is that those guys got threats for the Noah Gragson deal. These guys need to take their public ridicule for not voting. I mean, I will say I'm glad personally that Jimmie didn't get unanimous if Jeff didn't get unanimous, because Jeff Gordon should have been the very first unanimous between him and Jimmie. Okay, and again, you could argue, well, Jeff Gordon's not better than Jimmie Johnson. Jeff Gordon's Jimmie Johnson's a 7-time champion. Jimmie Johnson's 7 championships are in the playoffs. Like it or not, Jeff Gordon is a better driver than him. And frankly, you could argue, even, not that I want to argue because it's different eras, but you could potentially even argue that Gordon and Evernham were better than Johnson and Knaus. It makes you wonder what if they had all stayed together. But, again, I'm not going to dive into that argument as well. But I will say just the fact that Gordon didn't get unanimous makes me happy Jimmie didn't get it. Because, again, Jeff should have been the very first unanimous between him and Jimmie. Because honestly, Jeff Gordon, I think both are good. But I think Gordon slightly, has a better advantage. And, and again, because, he came from an era where there was no playoffs. Whereas Jimmie, in a way benefited from the playoffs, where Gordon got hurt by it. So, that's all I can say. So, congrats to Jimmie and Chad. Chad is by far the best crew chief. Say what you want about his, cheating scandals and all that. He is one of the best crew chiefs NASCAR's ever seen. And frankly, he's one of the best competition directors that Hendrick has right now. The fact that he's focusing on the 4 cars is just remarkable because, again, he needs to. It's important for that team, and, he's got a big role there, and it's good to see that he's still helping Hendrick now, not just the 48, but the entire team have the success level that they currently have. So, with that, and I thought we went longer. I don't know. Time's going slow for me today. But let's make the picks. IndyCar at Indianapolis. This is the Indy-NASCAR double weekend right here. Supposedly the last one at Indy. As IndyCar is rumored to go to Milwaukee, as mentioned. But of course, we begin with IndyCar in Indianapolis. And I'm going to pick Christian Lundgaard. He's been on a hot streak, sort of, or he sort of found his rhythm there. We know how good Lundgaard is at Indy. I was going to make the mistake and say Roman again. I wouldn't even be hurting by saying Palou, but Lundgaard seems to have confidence. He won on the last road course that we had. So I feel like this is a wave he can ride into Indy. Now again, I don't think, he might beat Palou, but I feel like, Lundgaard is kind of that outside, guess there. So can't wait to see it. Truck Series at Lucas Oil Raceway. I'm going to go Corey Heim. It's Heim time. He's been hot. And I think he'll continue it into the first race in the first round of the playoffs. Xfinity at Indianapolis. Cole Custer's been good on the road courses this year. I feel like Colleague as an Xfinity program and a Cup program have been off. I don't think, I do think AJ will compete, but I feel like, I just don't feel like the All-Star car was the direction to go. I do think he'll be close. Maybe he'll compete, but I got to give the edge to Cole Custer. He won on a few road courses this year. I wouldn't doubt he gets another win. Then the Cup Series in Indy. I want this so bad, and I'm going to predict it. AJ Allmendinger, he's going to win the Cup race. He'll make up for not winning the Xfinity race the day before. This is his time. He's got, these are his last two chances to get into the playoffs the next 2 weeks. Because after this, we go to Watkins Glen. If he does not win this weekend, he has to win at the Glen, I think, to get in. I don't think he's going to point in. I feel like this team needs this road course for a morale standpoint, because I think, morale's been... They just don't look like Colleague Racing this year. I thought they'd, step it up in the Cup. They've been about the same. AJ's been on a downward slide lately. And I think this is, one, because he's about to have a kid, or him and his wife are about to, have their first kid this week. I feel like it's a good omen if he gets a Cup win. I feel like that's going to be the momentum boost that he needs. So, with that, we want to say thanks for watching. Tune in to No Final Bell tomorrow. I'm going to go off and, watch the rest of this IndyCar race, hopefully. And we will see you back here next week. Until then, goodbye, everyone.